Everybody, peace. Welcome to the Sorry to Bother You show. Wherever or have you are listening, we're so grateful to have you here with us. As you guys know, I'm your host, Kashawn Cottle. And wow, for the first time in a very long time, I am not joined here today by my wonderful and amazing co-host, Mr. Dre Pennington. That's because Dre is currently on vacation right now. So, you guys are stuck with me for this episode. But I'm just so grateful to be here, guys. And since Dre's not here for today, I do want to take this time to dive into something that him and I have discussed about quite extensively for the past couple weeks, and that's the concept of off-season values and how to handle your personal life as an athlete during your off season. And we're just going to dive right into it. And before I get started, I do want to preface that what we're going to talk about today and the concepts that we talk about don't just apply to professional athletes, but also to collegiate athletes, high school athletes, athletes across all levels. And it doesn't matter what sport you play: basketball, football, soccer, baseball, hockey, golf, whatever sport you play and whatever level you're at. The concepts and the tenets that we're going to talk about today can be applied to you, no matter the level that you're playing at. So let's talk about the off-season values. So because we are in March right now, and primarily for basketball, a lot of guys, a lot of athletes, a lot of players are in their off season, getting right into their off season. It's just starting up regular season, postseason. It's just finishing for the most part. A lot of the overseas guys are getting ready to come back home. The college guys and girls are finishing up their postseason, aside from the players that are still in March Madness at this time. High school players are also in their off season right now. And this is the time of year where you really want to focus on what you're trying to improve upon this off season. So as soon as you dive into your off season, it's important within those first 3 or 4 days to really pinpoint what your focus points are going to be as a player for the off season. So you need to choose three areas of improvement for your game from a physical standpoint. So what are the three main focus points you're going to improve upon? So for example, say we have a shooting guard that wants to improve his vision, his footwork on the defensive end, and his ability to catch and shoot. Coming off ball screens and pin down the stackers, right? Shooting off the catch. So as that two guard, those are his three focus points, right? Vision, a footwork on defensive end, and his ability to shoot off the catch. All of his workouts, all of those players' workouts should encompass one of those three concepts, should be focused on one of these tenets, whether it's footwork for the defensive end, court vision, and shooting off the catch. You should be working on one of those three concepts in every single workout you have during the off season. What happens is we see a lot of players that don't really have focus when they get into the off season. And so when they go into the workouts and they go into the gym, they have no direction and they have no purpose when they're working out. And they try to figure out and they wonder why they're not seeing improvements in their game, even though they're in the gym 24/7. But they're not seeing improvement because there's no direction, there's no focus. There needs to be direction and focus and purpose behind every workout you have, which is why it's so important to really pinpoint and figure out just focus on three focus points for what you want to improve upon to add to your game for that off season. And you keep it to three, it doesn't become too expansive, but then also it doesn't become too specific to where you're deterring and you're not giving enough attention to other facets of your game. So three, always have three focus points going into the off season for what you want to work on. And it's important to do that within at least 3 to 4 days. At least 3 to 4 days into the off season. And if you're unsure about what exactly you want to work on, watch film. Watch film. I talked to my fellow pro athletes and the younger guys, the college guys and high school guys. I always focus and I really preach to them the importance of watching film. And I'm not talking about highlight tapes and reels and quick 10-second, 30-second clips that's popular nowadays. No, I'm talking about actually watching full game film from the previous season that you just played and having a purpose, writing down notes. So I'll not to digress, but I wanted to tell this story about how when I was in high school and I would have to watch film, my dad would, make me get a pen and paper, and I would have to write down everything I saw each possession, whether good or bad. And I needed to be completely objective when watching film. And so what we would do, he would have me watch my worst game and my best game. And that way you get a more objective and unbiased analysis of how you performed. Because if we're only looking at our best games from the past season, we're not going to see exactly what we need to work on because our deficiencies might not show in our best games. But we will see what we were successful in. So we have to be able to watch our worst games as well, humble ourselves in those moments, because when we watch our worst games, we can really see where our deficiencies are. And now we know what we really need to focus on. And so I tell that because when we're watching film, be willing to humble yourself and watch your worst games. And it can be uncomfortable at times because when you watch film, it feels like things are going much slower than they really were, and sometimes we feel like we don't look as good as film as we felt during the game. But we have to be willing to watch our worst games to go along with our best games as well. Just gives us a more, like I said, objective and unbiased analysis of what happened and how we really played. And obviously, college guys and the pro players we're used to watching film because we've been doing it for the past at least 4 years. But for the high school athletes, it's so important to watch film. And this is specifically for the high school players. If for some reason you don't have access to any of your film from the previous season, pinpoint one college player that plays the same position as you and watch a full game from their season. Notice how I said college and not NBA. The reason that is because very often high school players don't know what they're looking for when they watch pro guys play. When they watch pro actions, when they watch pro movements, to them it looks like a lot of isolation, a lot of one-on-one. But they haven't been in an environment where they're understanding the nuances of the reads and the quick reactions that the pro guys are reading in every offensive action, or even every defensive action as well. So I tell the high school guys, players, watch college game film. Because one, those guys tend to be more in control because they need to be when they drive the basket. And it's easier for you to see the reads and the actions and the sort of offensive movements that they're running, the offensive sets that they're running. So if you're a high school player and you don't have film from your season, pinpoint one player or one team that you want to watch, specifically one player that plays the same position as you. Watch their game film, full game film. And from there, you can get a better understanding, a better analysis of the game film. And choose a player that has a similar playing style to you and be objective. You know, as a point guard, if you're a floor general and you orchestrate the offense a la Chris Paul or Facundo Campazzo out of Denver, if that's your playing style, then don't go looking for guys that play like Allen Iverson or Gilbert Arenas, guys that are point guards, but they're scorers at heart, primarily scorers. Look, humble yourself and be objective with your playing style and say, okay, I need to find someone that plays like me and look at what they do that makes them successful so I can add that to my game. And that goes for, and that aspect does go for other college guys and pro guys as well. You know, find players that play like you, that have been successful at the highest level, and look at their film and see what you can add. But during the first month of your off season, really maximize your film watching. And if you guys haven't noticed already, when it comes to your off season, it's all about the details, all about the details, and being efficient and being purposeful with every action that you have. Your mindset every day during your off season should be, how am I going to get better today? How am I going to be a better version of myself than I was yesterday? That should be your purpose. That should be your focus every day during off season. How am I going to get better? How am I going to be a better person, better player than I was yesterday? And that thought process can be draining, but it's extremely important to have that mindset now and to be drained now during your off season, as opposed to when the season starts and you're in a training camp and you're going 2 days and 3 days and you haven't mentally prepared yourself for the exhaustion that's going to come. So prepare your mental state now, prepare your physical body now during the off season. So when you get into training camp, there are no surprises and you're used to all of this. Nothing that the organization or the programming team throws at you is going to be a surprise, because you've already put yourself through every sort of mental and physical exhaustion that's possible. So in the offseason, have a set schedule, have consistency in everything that you do. So if you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning for your first workout, that should be your schedule, Monday to Friday. Okay, I wake up at 5, my work is at 5:30. It's from 5:30 to 7:30. That's my first workout. You go back home or you go back wherever, you eat, you recover, you hydrate. And now you're going to your lifting workout at 10:30 or 11. You work out from 11 or 10:30 until 12 or 1, however long. Go back home, eat, rehydrate, sleep, catch up with some rest. Come back for your third workout at 3:30-ish. Work out till 4:35. Boom, now you've done 3 workouts during the day. And now you have time for recovery or whatever other possibly pick up, depending on the level of competition. And now you've maximized your day and you still have quite a few hours left. But that's your schedule. Stick to your schedule every day. Be as consistent as possible. Now, there's going to be days where you need to listen to your body, and you might need to sit out a workout, sit out a recovery session, or sit out a lifting session, but be consistent though. So if your schedule says you need to wake up at 5, then wake up at 5, and as your body permits. But be willing to listen to your body as well. It is very nuanced. But there's a difference between listening to your body and understanding when you need rest, as opposed to you just being lazy and not want to get up that morning. There's a very fine difference between the two. Very fine difference between the two. So if you wake up one morning and you feel like, okay, my body is telling me that I need to rest, and you take the day off, but really you're tired because you didn't go to sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning, that's not really your body telling you need to rest. You were just being undisciplined and not prepared for the workout. And now you feel tired because you only got 2 or 3 hours of sleep. So that's not your body telling you that you need to rest. That's just you not being prepared. There's nuance or detail. There's nuanced differences between the two. And speaking of the 2 days, 3 days in the workouts, during the off season, typically ideally, you want to have 2 basketball workouts during the day, one in the morning and one in the evening. And when I say basketball workouts, I'm talking about either skill work or live read situations. Live read situations can be 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5. That can be a substitution for a skill workout, but you should always have at least one skill workout a day. And skill workout is just going to depend on what your focus point is for the off season. Now, nothing's wrong with having 2 skill workouts a day as well. That's fine also, because we're going to get into the 80-20 rule as well. And the 80-20 rule is simply where 80% of your time during the off season should be spent focusing on your craft, on your skill work, whether it be lifting or skill workouts, things of that nature, as opposed to 20% where you're playing, 4-on-5, 4-on-4, sorry, 5-on-5, 3-on-3, things of that nature. And you should be lifting around 4 to 5 times a week. And make sure when you get with your lifting instructor or your lifting coach, make sure it's someone that is similar to you in terms of like body composition and build. My lifting coach, Coach Vince, he told me this, that when you're training, when you're lifting, looking for a lifting coach, find someone that has the same sort of background as you, and if not played the same sport, played a sport similar to what you do, has a similar body type to you, because what's going to happen is you're gonna naturally start to look like whoever your lifting instructor is in terms of body composition, because that lifting instructor is lifting based on their knowledge of weightlifting. So what they know is how they morph their body. So they're just going to give that knowledge onto you. So that's why you're going to naturally start to look like your lifting instructor. So that's why it's important when you're finding a lifting instructor, finding someone that has a similar background to you in terms of athletics. It doesn't have to be precise, but if I'm a basketball player, I don't want my lifting coach to be someone that only knows football, because he's going to move me like a football player. Now that football coach, lifting coach could also have background in basketball, but preferentially, I want to have someone that either played basketball or ran track or did soccer, because notice how those sports are more congruent in terms of how those athletes are built. So, like I said, you want to be lifting 4 or 5 times a week, having skill workouts at least 2-3 times a day for about 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah, I want to just add a quick caveat in there for the high schoolers, specifically like the sophomores and the freshmen. Take this time during your off season, especially during the summer, to look into taking visits to college campuses or going to showcases for different schools and universities, maximizing your opportunities during the off season. As a sophomore, go ahead and take that showcase invite just to get acclimated to what it's like working out at the collegiate level and what it's like being on that campus. Even if you don't go to that school, just go to a couple of showcases so the coaches can see your face and you just get used to being in that environment, because those environments are going to make you better and prepare you for the next level. Especially if you haven't started to gain interest in looks already. Especially, I'm talking to the high schoolers, sophomores, freshmen right now. Take those visits to those showcase invites and those showcase camps. They're only 2 or 3 days. They're very efficient and they're essential. You gain a lot of knowledge from them. And I don't endorse many camps, but it is for any high school or even college players as well. The one camp I always recommend is PGC, Point Guard College. Now that camp, Point Guard College, is, from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, the most effective camp for player development and mental strength building as well. What you tend to see is players that attend PGC, they're a completely different player and a completely different person from who they were before attending PGC. Because PGC, it forces you to look at the game differently, to play the game differently, to study the game differently, and it causes you to be in a very professional environment, and it forces you to really look at basketball as a profession at a young age. So for my high schoolers and my college players, and even pro players as well, I know a couple of pro players that have been to PGC during their professional career. If you're willing to invest, go to PGC, Point Guard College. That's the one camp I'm going to recommend. And you're there for a week, and it's all skill work, film study, a little bit of live action, live reads. Because they know the script, they know what it takes to be successful in off season. And it's no mistake that what I'm telling from my perspective is the same thing that they preach as well. And it just shows that there's a method to being successful. Success doesn't happen by happenstance. It's not luck or coincidence. People who are successful and gifted, not gifted per se, I would just say successful. People who are successful in whatever craft there is, there's a method to what they've done. And there's a reason they are where they are. And there's a reason where those who aren't successful, there's a reason why they're not successful. It's not this elaborate construct or planning. It's not this secret that people are looking for. No, there is a clear method to what it takes to be successful. The problem is that not everyone wants to do that. And the truth is, not everyone is built to do it. It's quiet as kept. Not everyone is built to be successful. Success is not an inclusive club. It doesn't ring of inclusivity like people think it does. No, success is extremely exclusive. Success is the most exclusive club in the world. And there's a reason why so few people actually become successful. And it's because not everyone is willing to do what it takes to get into that club of success. So when people ask me, can anyone be successful? I say no. Because not everyone is willing to do what it takes. But if you're willing to do what it takes, then yes, you can definitely be successful. But just on a general principle, do I think everyone can be successful? No, because not everyone has the mental fortitude and the willingness to do what it takes. And I'm uh I'm just going to digress, but getting back into this off season, I want to give a little caveat for pro guys like me. Uh, for those that go into the off season, talking to the pro guys, pro players that don't have a contract set up for them for the next year, or perhaps don't have an agent that they're working with, but they're looking to work with an agency. You guys need to be sending out at least 10 emails a day to coaches, GMs, owners, agents, at least 10 emails a day, getting your name out there, getting your resume out there, sending your film out there. But the beauty in that is because we're in an age today of social media and technology where it's much easier to get in contact with somebody. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's Instagram, there's emails, there's websites with numbers of contact information, WhatsApp, iMessage. You can call people now, uh, via WhatsApp. And so 10, when you think about it, we got all these platforms. 10 emails or 10 messages a day is actually kind of simple when you think about it. So let's just use this example. Say you're looking for an agency, right? You're looking for an agent to work with as an unsigned professional player. You're looking for an agency to work with. And we have agency A. Agency A has the contact information of 3 agents on there, right? And each agent on that website has their email address, their Instagram handle, and their phone number on there. So if you send all 3 of those agents on that website, send a message on your Instagram, send a message to their email, and send a message to their phone via text message, that's nine messages just right there within those 3 agents. And if our goal is to send at least 10 messages a day, you're basically already there, essentially. So just we're maximizing our opportunities by doing it. And I'll be honest with you, this for some people, that's hard. But this is the easy part. This is easy. They're just sending emails out. And what happens is you start to form a template for how you message agents and how you message coaches and GMs. And you just plug and play. You just, you delete, you change the name for who you're sending it to, but you keep everything the same. Keep your stats the same, keep your resume the same, and you keep the format of your email the same. You just plug and play, just change the name of who you're sending the email to, send the message to. There's ways to maximize your efficiency, and there's ways to do this. But what happens is guys aren't willing to put in an hour a day to send out emails to coaches and GMs and agents. And now there's 2 weeks left until the season starts, and they're figuring out why they haven't got signed yet. It's because they haven't done their part on putting themselves out there. Listen, yeah, and I've said this a million times on this platform that you can't hide talent. If you are talented, someone is going to find you, no matter what level you're playing at, whether it's high school, college, or professional. But just because you're talented doesn't mean you can't work. So there's nuance to that, because if you're talented, yes, someone is going to find you, but you have to be putting the work in as well, both on the court and off. Getting your name out there, promoting yourself. When I say promote, I don't mean like posting on social media. I mean promoting, like getting in contact, reaching out to the coaches and GMs. And truth be told, you're more than likely going to get no response, as opposed to someone saying, yes, let's work something out. We'll get a contract over to you. what's going to happen is you'll send a lot of emails, a lot of messages, and they just won't respond to you, and that's fine. That because you're not entitled to a response just because you send a message out to a coach or a GM wanting them to sign you. You're not entitled to a response. You're not entitled to anything in this life. So when someone, a coach or a GM or agent, does send you a response and they say, unfortunately, we aren't able to give you anything at this moment, but we appreciate you reaching out. You stay professional and say, thank you. I appreciate you responding to my message. And I hope things change in the future. You always leave every interaction on a good note because you don't know what can happen. Say you message this GM in April and they don't have a position for you, but 2 months later, because you're professional and you ended things on a good note, they need now they need to fill a spot that you can fill for them. So now they reach back out to you because you were professional and you ended things on a good note and you didn't burn that bridge. And there's so many different things that come into being successful as an athlete, especially at the professional level and the collegiate level, at all levels. It's how do you handle yourself as a person on the court and off the court, most importantly. And it's little nuanced, little details like that is what separates great players from players that aren't even playing. And this past season when I was playing in Mexico, I had a mentor that I was shadowing down there, and he told me that he knows there's so many guys that aren't the most talented, aren't the best players that he knows, but they just keep getting contract offers because of who they are. They're just genuinely good people. Everywhere they go, the environment becomes better. They treat the custodians with respect. They speak to everybody when they come into the locker room. They're not aloof and dismissive, with the media. And they form good relationships with the owners and they speak to the coaches and the players. It's simple things that can help get you another contract. And just from my experience playing in the past 3 years professionally, and this isn't hyperbolic or anything, 75% of what you do and how you get that contract is not based on your skill set. 75% of what you do and how you get the contract is not based on your skill set. It's based on what you do off the court. And that's not hyperbolic at all. And once again, that's just from my perspective on what I've seen playing. And when it comes to the guys that are unsigned, be calculated with the showcases and tours that you go to. Me and Trey and I are saving that whole concept. This is for college and high school guys as well. Being selective with the tours and showcase and tryouts that you go to. We're going to do that for another episode, but I just wanted to put that out to just be selective of where you go to, because we'll cover that in another episode. But I digress. I want to touch on the pickup again real quick. For players that are in the off season, be selective of who you play pickup with. Not all pickup is good pickup. And quite honestly, once you tell players, or whoever's in the gym, once you tell them that you play collegiately, you play professionally, or you play for your varsity team in high school, there will be some people that have a sense of envy about that, whether it be consciously or subconsciously. And so now they're going to start doing things in the game to one up you or to possibly hurt you. And I know it sounds outlandish or it sounds unrealistic, but the truth is it happens a lot. It happens almost every time that situation occurs. So be very selective, be very careful who you're playing pickup with as athletes, because whoever you're playing pickup with, for them, this is as good as it gets in terms of playing. In any sport, soccer, uh, hockey, softball, basketball, when you play pickup with people that aren't on the same level as you, or they don't play at another higher level, this is it for them. This is it for them. So they're going to go hard. But for you, the athlete that's playing at that already at a higher level, pickup is really just for you to work on what you're adding to your game and really to get that cardio in. So just be very careful, be very selective because not everyone has your best interests at heart. So be extremely selective, be very careful who you play with. And it's okay to, when people ask you if you want to play pickup or play a game, whatever, it's okay to say no, thank you. It's okay. It's okay to say, no, I'm good. That's totally fine. You don't have to prove anything to anybody when you step on the court or when you go into a gym. If you're there to do skill work, okay, you're there to do skill work and you don't have to do anything else. If someone asks you, do you want to play? You don't have to play. Don't feel pressured to do anything that you don't want to do. And it's extremely important to maximize our efficiency during our off season, guys. Now, we're going to take a little break, but when we're coming back, I want to talk about how to handle your personal life. And do you really have a personal life during your off season? So, guys, just stick around. We're going to cover that topic when we come back.
Hey guys, the team over here at the STBY show would love to show our appreciation to you guys, the fans, for the constant support you guys have shown us and for helping us grow into the media company that we are today. One way we want to show our appreciation to you guys is by giving away some of our signature apparel. So now, for a limited time, when you purchase any clothing apparel from our website, www.sorrytobothershow.com, you'll now receive a free hat. To pick up your own signature hat upon checkout, simply insert the hat into your cart and in all capital letters, use promo code HAT321. Once again, the promo code is HAT321. Once again, guys, we're just so thankful for all the support you guys have shown us, and we look forward to hearing from you guys soon. Now, let's get back to the show.
All right, everybody, welcome back. Before we close out this show, guys, I want to talk about the concept of athletes having a personal life during their off season. And we talked about earlier in the previous portion of the show the values and what you should be focusing on in terms of adding to your game during the off season on the court. But now let's just take a couple minutes to talk about what we should be doing to add to our personal life and ourselves off the court during off season. And I'll just start out right away by saying that for the most part, you're not going to have a personal life during your off season if you're extremely focused on improving your game. And we talked about working out 2 to 3 times a day and also watching film. That's going to take up a large portion of your time. And aside from basketball or your craft, whatever sport you're playing, your focus should be spending time with your family, improving upon yourself, and most growing your relationship with the Most High, whatever spiritual entity that you gravitate towards or that you believe in. And the most important way to maximize your time to improve upon yourself is finding avenues, finding mediums that allow you to express your creativity and other talents you may have outside of the sport that you play. And really use this time during the off season, during your off hours, during the off season, when you're not in the gym or on the court or on the field working out. Use that time to really find out what you enjoy doing outside of your sport, whether it be painting or reading or training kids and younger players, or working on cars, writing articles, photography, or doing uh, working with investments, uh, doing stocks, or even if you just like delivering food or groceries, find something that allows you to express your creativity, but also that could also be lucrative for you once your career is over. And it's okay to find out what that passion is and not and do it for free. But once you become talented at something, you should never do it for free because time is money. Money is time. So if you're wasting time, you're wasting your money. And if you're not making money, then you're wasting your time. So see how it's a circular kind of symbiotic effect. And it's respectful to yourself to have a price for yourself for and what your time is worth. And that's totally okay. But really use the time during the off season to find your creative medium and what really gives you joy. What do you love doing outside of your sport? Which means you might have to spend a lot of time alone. Figure that out. But aside from that, spend as much time as you can with your loved ones and your family. But really use this time during the off season to find what you love doing, find that other creative medium, because this allows for healthy outlets for us to go to outside of our sport. And it's so important to find that space where we're able to decompress and disassociate while still doing something that's constructive. But the biggest thing, the most important thing I want to talk about with players across all sports, across all levels, is the importance of giving back when you come home for your off season. Think about where you were at when you were younger, how you looked up to the players that were playing at higher levels than you, and how you wanted to be like them in terms of in that sport. So when you come back home, whether it's once a week or twice a week, allow someone from a lower level than you, which means that so if you're a pro player, allow a college player or a high school player to train with you, to work out with you once a week so they can see the intensity by which you train at and the level of intensity it takes to get to where you're at. So they understand what it takes. Allow them to be around you so they can pick your brain because you have so much to offer. We have so much to offer to other people, but oftentimes we feel like our thoughts and our experiences aren't worthy. But that couldn't be further from the case. What we experience, what we go through, is not only meant for us. Very rarely is it ever meant for us. Our experiences are actually meant to inspire others so they can rise above us. They can stand on our shoulders and reach heights and reach plateaus that we never would have been able to reach. But if we can inspire people through our story and through our experiences and the knowledge we give to be better of the version of themselves and to be better than us, we've done our job. So always be willing to give back when you come home. Allow players to train with you. Go back and speak at your old school, your old university, wherever, wherever people look up to, or wherever there are youth, go there, talk to them, because people they want to pick your brain. They want to know what you did to get to where you are. Your story is phenomenal and it's beautiful. And whether you're in high school or college or at the pro level, never forget that. There's always someone watching you that's looking up to you. Give back to those people. Give back to those people that care. And that's the most important thing to remember during your off season. With everything we've talked about, from training to expanding your personal life in terms of adding to your adding creative outlets to going to showcases and tryouts to watching film. Everything we've talked about, the most important thing is giving back to the youth, giving your knowledge, giving your experiences back to other people that are trying to get to where you're at. That's the most important thing to remember this off season. But guys, I just wanted to talk about what to do for your off season since so many players are back home now and their off season getting started right now. I just want to touch on that real quick. Guys, this has been a phenomenal episode. Don't worry, Dre is going to be back next week with a new episode that we have coming out. But guys, shout out to the Nerdy in Many Ways YouTube channel. Shout out to Earn Figures. They create great content, especially in the tech field. So if you're looking to possibly get into the tech working field or even need help with your resume, check out Earn Figures. They're on all platforms. And shout out to you guys, the fans, and none of this is possible without you guys as well. Shout out to the Tapped In podcast. They create great content as well. And yeah, Dre's much better at these shout outs than I am. But guys, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on all streaming platforms. We're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you haven't already, follow us on Instagram as well. Subscribe to our Patreon channel also. And if you would like to purchase some of our clothing apparel and help us give back to the community through our funds, through our profits, then be sure to check out our website, www.sorrytobothershow.com, to pick up some of our clothing apparel. And if you decide to pick up some of our t-shirts or whatever on our website, then make sure to enter promo code HAT321. That's all caps, no spaces. Once again, it's HAT321 in order to pick up a free hat. Because we just love giving back to the people that helped us get to where we are today. Guys, we'll be back again, like I said, next week with Dre. Will be back and we'll have another new episode. Continue to stay safe, be vigilant, make smart decisions, and until next time, guys, peace.